Okay, well, unfortunately, before we get started, this whole video recorded, or the speed build part of this video recorded with the wrong microphone. I'm so sorry about that. Hopefully it's not too annoying. Yeah, let's just get into it. Hello everyone, JSimLady here. Welcome back. Today I'm doing an apartment in San Myshuno with the City Living expansion pack. It's one of my favorite expansion packs. I cannot explain to you why. I just really like it. I like the apartments. I like the city. I don't know. I just like it. There's no words for it, just feelings. But I made an apartment years ago, and for some reason it never made it up onto the gallery. And the video for that apartment was really bad quality. So I was gonna come on here and recreate that apartment and maybe just update a few things. If you've been watching recently, I've taken some of my builds that I really love that I did for other things like the one color challenge or whatever. But they were builds that were not meant for the save file, but I really, really loved them. And so I updated them and changed them a little bit to make them fit in with the save file. And that's what I was going to do with this, but I knew I'd have to recreate it from scratch. As I got looking at it, I thought, this apartment is pretty good, but I was working number one off of a lot um, stricter of a limit of packs. I don't know why, but watching the video back, it seems like I really only used a couple of a couple of packs. And on top of that, I made some questionable choices, like using the open cabinetry from Snowy Escape under the sink. And I'm not sure why I did that, to be honest with you. I thought, this apartment is good, but it's not really great, and I could make it better. I could make it a slightly cheaper couple's apartment that made more sense and was more realistic. You know what I mean? Like not using open shelving cabinet under the sink. Because I was using mainly Snowy Escape at the time as what was going on. I think it was like I wanted to mix Snowy Escape and City Living together and see if they worked together. And I didn't want to use the cheap cabinets, if I remember correctly. Actually, you know what? I really don't remember. I'm kind of just assuming based on what I saw in the video and stuff. But it seems like me, I didn't want to use the cheap base game cabinets, and I don't know that there was any cabinets with City Living. Are there? I don't remember now. Oh yeah, the really rundown ones. That's right. Okay. So the base game ones didn't have a lot of color options. I didn't want to use the rundown ones because they were basically base game but rundown. Not a lot of options. And I wanted to incorporate Snowy Escape. I think I'm remembering now. 5 years ago was a long time though. Point is, I made some questionable choices and I decided it's time to update this lot. We can do better now. And so that's basically what I did. I took it, I used the inspiration of it, but I did better. I wanted to keep it as cheap as possible. I tried to make a nicely cluttered apartment, but keep it so that a couple could just move in here. I don't remember how much two adult Sims gets to start out. You'd think after all these years I'd remember, but I just cannot for the life of me remember how much, but I think this apartment came in at maybe around 23,000 for the furniture. The price of rent for these apartments seems to be unaffected by the furniture in them. It's more about the space, I think, of the apartment. So that's unaffected, but it does cost quite a bit to move in here with the furniture, for just two adult Sims to move in here. So you might have to come in and just like delete a few of the decorative things, especially the more expensive paintings and stuff, if it's a couple that are literally just starting out with no money. Otherwise, you're probably fine because it does come in at around 23,000. And I want to say that um, two adult Sims start out at around 24 or 25,000, right? Yeah, I don't remember. So I had no, well, I shouldn't say I had no idea what I was doing. Like, I was just randomly selecting things because I wasn't. Like I said, I used that original apartment uh, as kind of an inspiration. So, lots of woodsy colors. I did use certain things similar or the same, but not like, for instance, I used dark wood cabinets and counters and stuff, but I didn't use the same cabinets and counters. Does that make sense? Okay, so that's kind of what I did. Inspired by, but not identical to. And I honestly don't know how I landed on yellow because if I remember correctly, the original apartment was completely neutral. It was like all black and white, or gosh, now I can't remember. I think it was mainly black and white, maybe blue as an accent color, but like very neutral. And also, that really bothers me that you can't change those corner wood pieces. That's so weird. When did that happen? Because that didn't used to happen. You used to be able to change them, and they used to stay in the same direction as the rest of the flooring that you laid down. It's really weird. But anyways, um as I was saying, I think I just stumbled on the yellow, and it seems like a fun color to use this time of year when it's mostly dark and snowy and cold and just the opposite of all things, warm. And yellow is like warmth. It's like the sun, it's warmth, it's summer. And so I think I just gravitated towards it because it's so dark and dreary lately, you know? Although we're starting to come out of the dark days of winter, the days are starting to get longer and longer, so that's good. But yeah, I tried to use a lot of yellow where I could to keep it cohesive, but also just because I kept getting drawn to the yellow. The other thing was that I mixed a few different styles together. So there's a little bit, I think, of city living, a little bit of horse ranch. Did I end up using horse ranch? You know what? We're going to find out together. How about that? I also used a few things from that recent African inspired update that we got of those free items. I actually, when I found those, I'm like, ooh, these are nice. Like, I knew they were in the game, I saw the update, but I've been kind of taking a little bit of a break from The Sims and keeping up with the news. As you can tell on my channel here, I haven't covered any Sims news recently. That's because I needed a break. I'm gonna be honest. And I'll probably talk about this again in Wednesday's video because Wednesday I'm doing a video about the new pack and the new event and everything. But just to kind of get it out there now, I being part of the EA Creator Network, and especially the last couple of years where it was just like an onslaught of content nonstop, and most especially early 2024 with stuff going on for The Sims, but also, I mean, The Sims 4, excuse me, but also with the 25th anniversary of the franchise and everything. I'm gonna be honest, I got pretty overwhelmed and keeping up with the constant news, plus having, chronic illness slash disability, plus taking care of my daughter who also has my medical condition, and then other family stuff, especially as the year progressed, other family stuff going on. It got to be too much. I got a little bit too overwhelmed by keeping up with the news and everything for The Sims. And so I just stopped. I stopped trying to keep up with all the updates and the news and everything. I don't get paid to do this. I do this because I like connecting with people. I have a hard time making friends because I have severe social anxiety. I have severe generalized anxiety disorder. I was diagnosed as a child with that due to my chronic illness and the time period that I grew up in and everything. And so I have severe social anxiety and I try to interact with people, but I'm very slow at it and very slow to get into like interacting regularly with people. I'm trying. I really am. I just I get very scared. Very, very scared. Like a lot scared. So I'm really slow at it. And I do this to connect with people, to share the creations that I make with people, and to hopefully someday make some friends. Hopefully. I suppose if it were an actual job that I was getting paid to do, I probably would have showed up regardless and been like, here's the news, while slowly dying inside. But yeah, since I do this for the literally just for the fun of it, I decided that it was okay for my mental health to take a break and walk away for a while. Also, it coincided with a really rough time as far as being part of the EA Creator Network and stuff goes because, EA and the buyout and everything. And I'll probably talk about this some more in Wednesday's video as well. But I don't think I did a good job at explaining myself and why I also was quitting the EA Creator Network and stuff and continue to play The Sims and will buy the new pack. I'm a completionist, so I have to have all the major packs. I can't not have the major packs. The smaller packs I can do without. I'm even considering seeing if there's a way to uninstall Journey to Batu and a few of the kits potentially because I really actually don't like them. I've said this before. I felt obligated when I was part of the EA Creator Network. Not that they made me feel obligated, but I just felt like it was necessary to own everything and represent the whole game. I don't know. I've got this whole thing that I'm gonna talk about in my next video, the one that'll come out right after this one. So I don't want to try to explain myself now and kind of fumble it again like I did in the past. So we'll move on. But yeah, I got overwhelmed by everything basically, and I walked away. So I don't know when that African update came out. I vaguely heard about it. I knew it was there. I just hadn't been paying much attention to the game and the news, to be honest. Okay, so in the hallway, I decided to go all out with clutter. A little bit more than I had the living room, kitchen, and dining room. And this is where the price of the furnishings in this apartment really skyrocketed, like a lot. I probably shouldn't have put so many expensive things in the hallway and maybe cluttered it a little bit less to stay in line with the kitchen, living room, dining room area. But I just felt like this stuff went really well together and I liked it. And first impressions, and all that. And so your hallway should be like really giving off your person. I don't know. I'm just making stuff up at this point. I just got carried away. Let's be honest here. I just got carried away and cluttered it with really expensive things. When I got to this room, I decided I wanted it to be like an at home office, work at home space, but I also kind of wanted it to look like these guys had moved in relatively recently and they hadn't worked on this room yet. Like they got their living room, hallway, obviously, kitchen all set up nicely, the bathroom's all set up, the bedroom is all set up, but this room they just kind of haven't really done much with yet, haven't touched much yet. So that was why I did this room in this way, without much in it except like a desk and a computer, and then some random bits of things. The bedroom was for some reason the hardest room for me to do and to make look good with the rest of the house, like keep the styling cohesive. I don't know why. I did notice there was a lack of nice yellow furniture, but also that was not hugely expensive. So that was one of the issues. Um, Another issue was that I obviously, as you saw previously, kind of was mixing styles a little bit, and when I got to the bedroom, that got a little bit harder as certain pieces here, like the bed and the lamps, are very clearly one style, and they don't necessarily mix well with the other styles, if that makes sense. Oh yeah, also I had a really hard time with this room because it's actually huge. It is a huge bedroom and I was having a hard time filling it up with furniture. That was the other issue. It took me a while to figure out how I was going to get enough dressers and things in here, but still make it look good, and fill up all that excess empty space. I think in the end it turned out okay, especially considering that, oh, excuse me, I I have another cough. The other one went away, and this one is it just started a few days ago, maybe a week ago, like literally right after the other cough was starting to go away or had been gone for like a day or two. This one started up. I don't know what's wrong with me lately. I don't know if I'm becoming allergic to my dogs. I really hope not. Or if it's something else, but this has been rough. I've had a chronic cough for many, many years now, and it does kind of come and go. Um, this is one of the longer running episodes of it. I've had it off and on since September. but basically since the end of December, it like constant. It will not go away. At least before it was just a couple of weeks, a month, and then I was fine. But now it won't go away. So I had to put a cough drop in. I'm sorry. Anyways, um, I had to try to figure out how to fill this room up with furniture and make it look good, and that was really hard. But I do think, see, I mean, it's done now. Did it not turn out fairly well despite all of the issues? I think it looks pretty good. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a little narcissistic when it comes to my builds. I just remembered why I chose yellow. I thought it was just something I was gravitating towards because it's cold and it's snowy and it's January and everything. No, what it was I originally wanted this to be a really low income apartment, or not low income apartment, but like, yeah, kind of a low income apartment for a couple just starting out who didn't have any money really. And the landlord had painted it all beige, like this yellowy beige color. And they decided to work with that rather than against it. That's what it was I was doing. I remember now how quickly my brain forgets these things, because I literally just built this yesterday. Oh, I swear these colds or this ongoing allergies, whatever, it's eating my brain. Anyways, we're pretty much done with the what no we're pretty much done with the speed build part. We're just finishing up the bathroom here, and then I can give you a quick overview of the apartment. I just have one more thing to put up and then we're done. And here we have it. I did get a new mouse, by the way, so it's smooth as butter now. The only bad thing is it's huge, so my hand goes numb when I'm using it too much. But aside from that, it runs great with The Sims 4 now. Here's the living room. Nice and cozy and warm. A little dining space here that overlooks the plaza area, I guess you would call it. Plus some extra seating at the counter for guests. Here is the very basic kitchen. And then we have the hallway, which is hard to see because narrow rooms like this are hard to get into, but there you go. Then we have the somewhat unfinished office area. Well, mostly unfinished. It needs some work. But the couple doesn't care because they mostly spend their time here in this gorgeous bedroom and out here in the living room. So nobody cares about the office right now. Anyways, here's the bedroom. It's cozy. Taking a second look at it like this, I actually really do love it. It turned out really warm and inviting, and I like that. I like that bedroom a lot. And then here's the basic bathroom. I don't do much with my bathrooms. I guess I don't care about bathrooms that much, especially since most of the time the bathrooms I build are really small and you can't do much with them. Maybe one of these days I'll do, well, I'm gonna have to, one of these days do like a penthouse mansion or just a regular mansion or whatever, and put some good sized bathrooms in it so I can really decorate the bathroom. But yeah, this one's just kind of basic like most of my small bathrooms. And there you have it. Another bright, fun apartment for Sammy Shuno for the save file. And on that note, if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button. If you are enjoying my channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and let me know down in the comments if there's anything that you would change in here, or any ideas that you have for future builds for the save file, things you'd like to see in the save file. And on that note, I will let you go. I'll see you in the next one. Bye!